like I always wanted to challenge traditional thinking. I remember being raised by my grandmother, being very young. I was shy, I was introverted. I was that kid when all the family members came over, I really sat in the corner. I never really expressed myself. I never really had many challenges. I remember growing up, the first real difficulty I ever faced was when my grandmother, she passed away. This is the first family member I ever lost in my life where it really hurt me. From that point on, I just became really angry. I was going around, I was getting into fights, I was hanging around with the wrong people, and I kind of got to that point of being hopeless. I actually attended college, and it was the first time that I ever kind of saw a different perspective. I saw a different world. I actually joined the organization, I joined the fraternity, Omega Psi Phi, and it was the first time that I got a chance to express myself, to be myself. We had a big project that came up. It was Omega's Next Top Model. We actually did a 5-week reality show where we brought people in and we had them do challenges. And I remember at the end of the pageant, we showed it at the auditorium and we were sitting there and we got a standing ovation. And as I looked out on the crowd, and I just had this big smile on my face and I said, this is what I want to do. I want to build things. I want to make things. After that, I was completely done. I was completely done. I couldn't motivate myself for class anymore. It was just impossible. Everything kind of broke. It was when I entered one of my professor's classes. It was an elective that I didn't really want to take. And he walks in, he's an older guy. He had cold white hair. He had messy looking clothes on. And he walks in with a stack of scripts in his hand. And he walks in triumphantly. He slams them down on the desk. He looks at everybody and says, look, class, you send these off to Hollywood? And you hope somebody picks up your, and I thought to myself, hope? You hope somebody picks up your script? See, I wasn't in the business of hoping. I left class immediately. I slung my backpack, I walk out, go straight to my dorm room, and my roommate's there, and he looks at me. As I'm sitting there staring at the wall, he walks in behind me and said, hey, what's wrong? Without even looking back, I say, I'm done with this shit. I'm done. Me and my business partner at the time, we left, and the project that we decided to create was Houston, Welcome to My City. It was a documentary about Houston. And we had such high hopes, such high dreams for it that we thought it was going to be everything. The documentary didn't end up doing what we thought it would. It didn't really make the money we thought it would. It didn't have the success or the critical acclaim that we thought it would. And it was just like one of my first major failures in a long time. After that, I kind of went to a bout of depression. I didn't have any social circle. I didn't have any friends for like an entire year. Shortly after that, my uncle got ALS. I was the one who had to actually take him to the hospital and listen to them as he slowly degenerated. But something happened while I was at the hospital when I remember going in and the doctor sitting there and telling them that he was going to die. And I just remember thinking to myself, I looked at my uncle as somebody who had so much potential. He never accomplished the things that he wanted. I thought maybe that would be my life. Maybe that would be me. Shortly after that, me and my business partner, we completely separate. We severed ties. We went separate ways. Not in a bad way. It's just we just saw things different. We just saw the way business should be ran, the way the company should ran. It should just be different. I was completely alone for the first time in my life. Completely alone. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I left school. I dropped out. I was an actual college dropout. Never thought I'd be that. My family never thought I'd be that. And I was sitting there on the floor in the back room of my mother's house, crying, tears streaming down my face. And I'm thinking to myself, what am I gonna do? What are you gonna do now? I'm thinking, you fucked up. You left school, you pursued some type of dream, and you're just gonna become a washout like everybody else. That night, I laid down and I had one of the craziest dreams I ever had. And the dream said, you create the world around you. I remember I woke up in a cold sweat, thinking to myself, like, what is this? What is this? What is this I've come across? And what I found was that if you took massive action, you could literally change everything in your life. I ran to the only person that I had contact with in a long time. It was Willpower. His name's Will. He's working at Papados at the time. He had the real deal. He had like, he had the Papados uniform on. And I was looking at him, the same feeling I felt, that soullessness, that lifelessness, I could just see it in his eyes, and I said, look, Will, I'm telling you, massive action. We gotta take massive action. We have to do this. And he looked at me, he said, you know, what's this massive action? So I explained to him that a couple weeks ago, I was calling everybody and I was like, you know, I wanted to go out, I wanted to hang out, I wanted to have fun, and nobody wanted to do it. So I was sitting there in my room and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go. Like I've always told myself since I was young that you couldn't go out. You couldn't be somebody who just goes out by yourself. It was dangerous or whatever limiting beliefs I had in my head, and I did it. And when I went out, I had so much fun that I decided what other limiting beliefs could I challenge. After that, we start challenging everything. We start challenging all limiting beliefs. And I started putting a couple YouTube videos up and started filming in different locations because I just really wanted to challenge myself, test my comfort zone. My brother, he comes in. He'd always been trying to get me to go out of town with him, but he says, you know what, bro, you should come with me to LA. You should come with me to Los Angeles. And me, you and Will go out there, we'll have fun, you know, and you can shoot some stuff for your videos. I took the opportunity, first time ever, stepping outside my comfort zone. And I remember me and Will going up to Runyon Canyon to shoot one of my videos. And as we were climbing up there, and we got to the peak, we got to the summit of the cliff, and I looked out, and I saw this beautiful view. Right there, at that moment, it changed everything. I thought to myself, I'm sitting here looking at this beautiful view, and what other opportunities have I missed in life simply because I didn't want to take action, simply because I said no to great opportunities, simply because I didn't want to step outside my comfort zone. I was completely all in, just massive action, everything. We got back from LA, and Will, he actually started his company, the In Crowd. And from there, I was like, you know, the only thing that's really going to separate us is the amount of action we take. It could be anybody could do promotion, anybody could do this, but it's the amount of action we take. From that, we got like great partnerships. We partnered with Matthew Knowles, and we threw a party at the Beyonce Destiny Child mansion. We did all kind of crazy things that we thought were just inconceivable for somebody who is literally coming from nothing, who didn't have connections, who didn't have resources, who didn't have all the skills and talents, didn't have the luck, didn't have anything given to him. All we had was massive action on our side. I remember the one event that really just kind of shot everything over the edge for me. It was a Miller Lite Tap Your Future event. And I remember my friend Zenon was pitching his idea, Gopher. And I went to this event, he was telling me, hey, you know, you should, they got a pitch competition, you should enter it. I walk in, me and Will walk in together, and the bucket's right there, it's an old rustic bucket. And Will's like, man, you should enter this, you should enter this. So I didn't have my own business card, I take my friend's business card out, I put it in the bucket, I walk in, I don't even think anything else about it. So we walk in, and during the competition, there's a segment right before the pitch competition. So I walk to the restroom, and I'm thinking, they're not gonna call my name. So I come back in, and I hear the name over the loudspeaker. They call the name on the card, Abe Rios, which is one of my friends. So I look over at Will. Will's like going crazy. He's like, I told you they're gonna call your name. I told you they're gonna call your name. Hey, look, Will, when you go up here, you gotta be full shameless. Like old ladies, like old white ladies, you gotta go up, you gotta be full shameless, whatever, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm full shameless. Like, I could feel in my body that this was just something crazier than anything I ever done. So when I got up there, I walk up to the front. It's like a movie, it unfolds. He's like, you know what, you're gonna go last. So they go, you know, they give their little pitches, and I'm just thinking to myself, I have to blow them off the stage. So when I grab the mic and I start telling my story, I start captivating the room. I start seeing that everybody is loving what I'm talking about. And even Damon John, he sits up and takes notice. But I realized, even though I got kicked off stage because I told him that I didn't have my own business card and I wasn't Abe Rios, I told him, well, I'm not actually Abe Rios. I'm here for a different reason, because I'm not letting fear hold me back. I'm taking massive action in order to get the things I want. Now, of course, they still kick me out. But I remember walking around, me and Will walking around downtown after that, and I was like, I just felt in my body so good that I felt such passion, I felt such a joy for life, because here I was, somebody who was sitting on the floor a year ago. I had got to a point where I had lost all my social ties to everybody. I hated life, I was depressed, and now here I was doing something that it inspired me. I was taking massive action. I just realized, I said, here I was with all these limiting beliefs about who I was, about what I thought, or what my identity was, or what other people had told me my identity was. And just when I challenged traditional thinking, when I took massive action, it changed everything. I came from sleeping on the floor at the back room of my mother's house to taking action, being on stage, public speaking, having people wanting to work with me, having people wanting to buy from me, having all kind of great experiences, and just living a life of passion, something that I really wanted to do, while most people were sitting around doing things that they hated doing. And literally the only thing that was different was I chose to take massive action. And that's the journey that I want to share with you. Massive Action Movement Show.